So the Supercars are gearing up for race 8, I think, of the championship now at Tasmania, and what I wanted to do in this video is talk about the new QUALY format that was implemented for this weekend and is going to be implemented at Barbagallo. So basically what it was a combination of the best bits of the MotoGP and F1 formats, in that practice on Friday, the times from that were combined, and drivers were split into qualifying 1 and qualifying 2 based on their finishing position in practice, which is similar to the style that MotoGP use. And then taking from F1, they took the top 10 shootout Q3 style thing that F1 use at every round. And there was a lot of talk going into the weekend whether it would be successful, and I think overall it was, and I'm going to talk about why. So the main reason for the introduction of this QUALY format was to decrease the congestion and traffic problems that have plagued tracks like Symmons Plains and Barbagallo for many years now, thinking back to James Courtney and Will Davison a couple years ago at Tasmania, almost a massive crash there. And for the most part, the format did its job. It meant that there was only a maximum of 16 cars on the track at once during qualifying. It was a bit of an issue for practice, which I'll get into later, but for the most part, it meant that no one was balked on potential pole laps, and that's the main thing. We don't want to see anyone's laps getting ruined because of being blocked at a small track like this. So for that, the format did pretty much as well as I think it could have. And the main thing for me was that it got me watching practice on a Friday. That's something I don't know how many Supercars fans actually watch practice on a Friday. There's generally not much happens. I think most of the drivers have actually said that they don't really try that hard on a Friday, but because of this new format, the times being taken into account for qualifying, it means that they had to try and practice and they had to put out good laps. And I think that's fantastic. I think that was the best part of this format, is that it meant that Friday mattered, and it was one more day of Supercars, one more excuse to watch them, and I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, in terms of potential issues, this is something I mentioned just a little bit earlier, was that whilst in qualifying there wasn't any problems with blocking or congestion, that's what it sort of did, was move the practice from Saturday to Friday, because all of the cars were on track at the same time on a Friday, and I believe a red flag caused by Nick Percat in practice 2 in particular, with about 8 minutes left, meant that all of the field was out trying to set fast laps in those last 8 minutes anyway. So it didn't so much remove the problem entirely rather than move it to a different day, but practice is 45 minutes long on a Friday as opposed to 10 minutes for qualifying, so the drivers had more time to set a fast lap. And whilst your lap time could be blocked on a Friday, you were still, even if that resulted in you only getting to Q1 rather than going straight into Q2, you can still theoretically get pole position. So I think, whilst it didn't solve the problem entirely, it definitely was the best outcome for the new format. And I think there was talk of there being potential advantages for drivers that run in Q1 and then go straight to Q2 knowing the conditions of the track, but I didn't think there was really any validation of that. So that's pretty much my thoughts on the new qualifying format for this race in Barbagallo. I think it was a great success. I don't know if I'd want to see it implemented at any other rounds, but for these small tracks, I think it works perfectly. Make sure you keep an eye out for my videos. I'm going to do a video on the supercar races, talking about yesterday's quite exciting race, and then today's race, which is only about 45 minutes away. And I'll also be covering the F1 and the MotoGP and the WRC. It's a very good weekend for a motorsport fan. So until then, I will catch you later.